I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up. I was also kind of thinking it might be cool to do like a do-do-do-do-do-blah. Do-do-do-do-do-blah. It's sick. Note to self, Roy. Find all the interesting parts and put that in the video.
Behind the scenes with Royish good looks studio diary.
Day 2 here with the Mandalorian. I'm learning a ton of stuff, so check this out. You and me, and Pro Tools. Just you and Pro Tools. How cool is that? Super cool.
Behind the scenes.
So one thing I want to talk about is the lyrics. I like the idea of like, what does it mean to be the Mandalorian or a Mandalorian? To me, Din is the Mandalorian. And I think he could lead by example and show everyone what it could mean to be a Mandalorian. The song kind of hinges on that right now, but of course these lyrics are kind of vague because I don't have a lot to work off of. So I'm hoping there'll be a few more like specific nuggets that I can nudge the song more towards like what actually happens in the show rather than speculating, which I am right now, and being very vague. But of course, these lyrics are sort of placeholders, so they're gonna change. The current state of them, though, is like just fine to work with. I'm actually really impressed with how this demo came out. So I'm really happy where it is as just this guitar and vocal thing, and we'll just keep working on it. The next goal is to drop in drums, and we'll start drum arranging because I don't want it to be just this guitar vocal thing, although it's kind of cool. It's got that like glycerine like kind of vibe to it when it's just like one guitar, still a ton of vocals, but I intend it to be a rock song. I listened to this demo a ton of times yesterday and even this morning. It's like 3:45 right now on March 13th. It's the next day. I'm so excited about this project. Now my goal will be to drop in some MIDI drums and start arranging that, maybe some MIDI bass, and eventually move on to guitars and basically doing another demo version as the rock version of the song. We did the voice memo. We did this kind of rough demo all the way through. Now we'll do the full band demo. All right, I've done a few tests and I'm a little bit worried it's gonna lag while I'm editing and recording all this stuff. So who knows how this is gonna come out.
You took the creed and believe this is the way. All of your life you've been both hunter and prey. You're a man.
I think that's where the drums are gonna come in. It's gonna be like just guitar, boom, and just cut right in.
Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian?
Also kind of want to do the like, open your eyes thing.
You would grow up.
Yeah.
You
So
would
laggy.
Mandalorian.
All right, let's put in some cymbals.
A man.
I think this will open up like open guitar.
Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? You would
Crash, we'll do like,
Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? Mandalorian. You would grow up never showing your face. You didn't ask why, it's just how you were raised. You're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian?
maybe we can do the fill into it.
Just how you were raised, you're a Mandalorian. It's just how you were raised, you're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? Raised, you're a Mandalorian. Raised, you're a Mandalorian.
All right, so that would either be like a hold into the chorus, or that would be like a build up. Yeah, so if we do maybe crash on this little like pre-chorus section and then ride, I want the chorus to be big and powerful. There's the chorus and the post-chorus, so they have to have some kind of contrast between the two. Maybe chorus is on the ride and then post-chorus is on the crash, or vice versa, or chorus is on the ride and then post-chorus can kind of break down. I was also kind of thinking it might be cool to do like a do-do-do-do-do-blah, do-do-do-do-do-blah. Tom-tom, flaming snare sort of thing for the post-chorus. Again, just like everything we're doing here, there is significant amount of trial and error. I also don't know if I want to use this stress beat, this do-do-do-bat, do-bat, do-do-do. I've only used that in like transition sections like that, I think. I've not really used that beat as the main beat in a song. So that's also new to me. And sometimes that can be kind of fatiguing, I think. Kind of cool to introduce it there in the pre-chorus. Maybe that comes back for the post-chorus instead. I also don't really, I don't want it to break up. I almost want it to be like 4 on the floor sort of thing. If it's just straight halftime, that's gonna be boring. Yeah, I like it with the movement better. Double crash. So much lag. And then I usually bring the ride down a little bit in velocity. Yeah, maybe you can trade off like that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, and that first tag, I definitely want that first tag to be like, ooh, I should have talked about this earlier with the lyrics, but like, it's not the Beskar steel that makes the man. It's the punchline in the chorus here, the tagline, hook line, but that is the song that Din can then learn. It's not the suit of armor, it's not the rifles, it's not the gadgets, it's not the creed, it's not the Beskar steel that makes the man. DeLorean! I love it. It's so good. So that moment has to be just right. I want it to be pronounced. Got to figure out how to do that.
I understand that it's not the Beskar steel.
Maybe we can just do a simple little doom doom psh, tom tom fill.
Not the Beskar steel that makes the Mandalorian.
This can either be our breakdown. If this is a really fat chorus, it'll break down, or maybe we can just continue with this beat for now. The funny thing when you start to arrange the drums is we're copy and pasting the stuff that's perfectly on the grid. It's going to start really rigid and repetitive at first, and we'll pull out all of the unique stuff later when we figure out like that's the perfect way to highlight that moment. And then is that going to be on ride there, or can we go back to maybe hi-hat would be maybe more interesting? Maybe we'll just keep this beat rolling through. And the only other thing that might be interesting is like if the crashes hit with those snares. And then would this keep going? I don't know. Too much stuff going on. Could have the snare on beat 1.
Steel that makes the Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian?
That's really annoying there. Okay, what about crashes on quarter notes? I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Yeah, no, hi-hat leaves a little bit more room. Save that crash for a bigger moment. I do kind of like the snare drum on beat 1. I've never used that before. We'll go with this for now.
So it would seem you're a man.
If this is gonna totally be like Open Your Eyes, Goldfinger, the verse would be just like the overhead and room mics for the drums. It doesn't matter what the beat is, but the mixing won't be like the kick and snare drum close mics with the rest of the drums. We'll mute those or lower those so the drums will be a little bit thinner. I just need to think about the part right now, and we'll worry about the mixing later.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything that you are.
A little too exciting there. The other song that I was sort of thinking about when I started writing this is I heard Michael Jackson Beat It on the radio. It's such a catchy song. And so this melody and like chordal change has some kind of similarity with that. And the beat is also interesting. It's sort of like a modified 4 on the floor kind of rock thing. Maybe we can try some of that here.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything.
It's a little corny.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything that you are, or so it would seem.
I don't know. Let's try close hi-hat.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything that you are.
The other thing that's tricky when it's just the drums is it's not enough for the whole arrangement. So we're kind of like working in this box right now of drums, the scratch guitar, and the scratch vocals. You know, you never know what other cool stuff could come around it. You know, we're getting a feel for what it could be. And that's part of the discovery of this is like, we put in a drum beat, that will influence the bass, that will influence the guitar. If there's strings or piano or synths or, you know, more vocals, like what spaces did the drums leave that other instruments can fill in?
Or so it would seem, you're a Mandalorian. Or so it would seem, you're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian?
And it could be cool to not go to the crash right after that.
Make a Mandalorian.
Right, suck it right in.
You didn't know that could
It's cool with the crash, but
be you didn't know that could.
what if it just goes to nothing?
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything. Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem.
What if we do a accent on these snares?
Deep in the mines,
I don't know.
deep in the mines, you would try to redeem.
And then we do a crash on that, let it hang for a minute. I think it's really cool when you're going into a part and instead of it being like 1, 2, 3, 4, psh, you play like an auditory trick where you still get that like wash of sound transitioning you from one section to the other, but the crash can come that beat earlier. 1, 2, 3, psh, deep in the. It comes in a little bit earlier and lets the verse maybe brood a little bit more, like this deep in the mines. You know, I could see a lot of cool production of like sucking down the vocal, making it like weird for that moment, right? You had this big doubled up post chorus, and then we have this really dark and brooding verse without this traditional like, boom, here's the beginning of the verse. Like we're going into the mines, you know, mines of Mandalore.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem.
Also wonder what it would be like with, you know, just this kind of like stress beat again.
Deep in the mines, you would try.
Oh yeah, I mean, that would work 100%.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem.
It'd be cool to have like a like side stick along with that.
Deep in the
Oh yeah, this could be cool. But it's been a while since I've used side stick for something.
deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything that you are, or so it would seem. You're a man.
All right, that's definitely going to need mixing, number one, maybe different sample for it. And also, that has to have the hi-hat along with that.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything.
And then does it still need the snare on that other beat though?
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything.
Definitely reminds me of some like getting some Police vibes from this, which would be cool. Like the riff kind of sounds like a message in a bottle a little bit to begin with. But I don't know what that's reminding me of. Maybe something from Synchronicity or something. Kind of weird, you know, creepy, right? Snare drum on beat 2 and 4 really pushes it along versus that side stick. The side stick is like you're tapping on your wrist, you're waiting for something to happen. It's like a ticking time bomb sort of thing.
You didn't know there could be so much more, but when you learned, you had to settle the score. You're
Ooh, I can also hear like some feedback from the guitars there, maybe. You know, I don't know how thematically that'll work with the lyrics, but I'm hearing a lot of cool ways of getting back into this big B section of the verse. Can it be brooding in that first half and rock in the second?
Mandalorian, what makes the man? Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything that you are, or so it would seem. You're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? You didn't know there could be so much more, but when you learned, you had to settle the score. You're a Mandalorian.
All All right, I did kind of like it changing there. If verse 2, it can't be copy paste from verse 1. It's got to have more energy. It doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be like more rocking or whatever, but it has to have something new. You would want to hear that versus just skip to the next song. And a lot of times verse 2 is my favorite part because of that. You get really creative with it, have a little bit of fun with the arrangement, right? But this doot 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 doot, I wonder if that beat needs to carry through. Maybe we put a tom-tom here? Rack tom, maybe?
Could be so much more, but when you
Oh, yeah.
be so much more, but
Oh, no, that whole time we were only on the video there. So I'm not a drummer by trade, but I try to program the drums so that they seem relatively realistic, that a drummer would play them, even though that probably wouldn't always perfectly translate because I'm just not a drummer. In this instance, I'm not sure how a drummer would do this.
you didn't know there could be so much more, but when you learn,
Probably just a better fill rather than doing that the whole time.
but when you learn, you had to settle the score. You're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian?
In chorus 2. Okay, so that doesn't work. Would be like 2 measures of that maybe. Knowing you're going into the chorus would be that beat, so maybe we can continue to rock out for a second here. And then I don't want to cut out here. So again, this should kind of roll through. We would maybe repeat.
Understand that it's not the best car steel that makes a Mandalorian.
I don't know if there would be like a moment here, like
That makes a man feel. That makes a man not the best car steel. That
jatu
makes
jatu. Does it cut out again? Maybe does cut out. Rocks out a little bit more into it though.
that is not the best car steel. That makes a Mandalorian.
I guess maybe it would be kind of like almost like the pre-chorus thing, like jump up to crash.
The best car steel. That makes a Mandalorian.
Yeah, and then you could still pause on that 4th beat. I love when you can have that 4th beat be the push.
That makes a man.
And then maybe these would be lower.
Scar steel. That makes a Mandalorian. What makes a Mandalorian?
Let's just try what this would be like on a more average halftime beat and see if that's lame.
Scar steel. That makes a Mandalorian. What makes a man?
It definitely gets your head bobbing, right? Like, do we want it to be all stressful and then break in? You know, it was so hard to see. I'm stressed out, but that's not what makes the man. What makes the man? DeLorean. You get this actual release from the part when it goes to halftime there almost.
I understand that it's not the best car steel that makes a Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian?
Yeah, I don't know if I want it to be that generic. I got a really nice comment on It's Like Poetry where someone said, like, Roy could sell out and be on the radio and write really generic pop songs, but he chooses to write songs about Star Wars. I thought that was a really nice comment. I don't want to be generic, and I love pop music. This, though, makes it's such a low-hanging fruit, but is that the most satisfying thing? We have to figure out what that perfect balance is.
What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the
That's not the classic like country beat though. It would be a doom, do ba do doom, ba. That would be it, right? Do doom ba. This would be the beat you would expect to hear on country radio.
that makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian?
I mean, it lines up the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
It's perfect for that. Yeah, and this is what I was thinking, like maybe there's nothing here. Maybe this is the breakdown thing, and then maybe it wouldn't be so goofy. Man, I shouldn't have said all that knocking like the beat, like, oh, this is the every bro country song ever. It just has to feel satisfying. So it doesn't matter what the beat is.
That makes a Mandalorian. What
Yeah, if we take these snares, let's nudge them out of time by like 35 milliseconds.
That makes a Mandalorian.
A little bit too much going on with the tom-toms.
Mandalorian.
Doom, doom, doom. Maybe it's 1 and 2.
Mandalorian.
Doom, 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 pff. Doom, blah, doom, 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 pah. Doom, 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 doom.
Makes a Mandalorian. What?
Doom, blah, doom. Dooku, dooku, plah. Doom, blooku. Is that a kick drum, Phil?
Mandalorian. What makes the man?
See, this is kind of cool. So we were talking about like what beat is cliche to use. And here we started with a cliche beat, but now we're kind of like stripping it back to what might work better in this particular arrangement. That's the key. Like what fits this song? It's not like just use this beat because that's the beat that you use. What's going to give you the emotion and the feeling that you want?
Mandalorian. What makes the man?
And then we can do the Travis Barker Adam song sort of thing there. I can bring my splash cymbal sample in. Splash cymbal sample. Say that 3 times fast. Let's do it. I don't think I've ever done this in an RGL song.
Mandalorian. What makes the man?
I do like this. I want it to be anthemic. That's kind of the cliche with a lot of my songs, I think. But this is definitely giving me that vibe for sure. You just want every part to be as cool as it can be, contrast and unique from, whatever came before it. If this is all stressful and we're riding through it or crashing through it, of course, like a chopped up part would be a little bit better rather than repeating the same sort of thing for another 8 bars, right?
Now I understand that it's not the best car steel that makes a Mandalorian. What makes a Mandalorian? What makes the
And maybe there would be like a dooku dooku pss, blah.
What makes the Mandalorian?
Maybe those would be crashes there.
What makes the man?
Yeah, and then we can break back in for the bridge.
Mandalorian. What makes the man? What makes the man?
Da da da. Go back to the chorus beat, or this could be maybe generic halftime. I don't know.
You took a chance when you decided to leave. We're all better off no matter what you believe. You're a Mandalorian, always a Mandalorian.
Okay, another really cool thing to try, which we've sort of done here a little bit. Take one beat for one section of the song, plop it over another section of the song. Or even like the chords, or the rhythm. Whatever it is, like take one part that you thought belonged in one section, move it to another section, and you get a whole new vibe, like this verse.
You took a chance when you decided to leave. We're all better off.
Now it's Adam's song, that it's the verse instead of the chorus part. But kind of cool though.
You took a chance when you decided to leave. We're all
Yeah, so on that note, let's go to the chorus and we'll do this beat.
It was so hard to see, 'cause all my worlds were underneath. But now I understand
And then
that it's not the best car steel that makes a Mandalorian. What makes the man?
so the opposite, you go to like the breakdown to the stress beat, which works better. I don't know, but you can figure that out by experimenting a little bit there. I think into this last verse, we'll have to do something like the first chorus again.
You took a chance when you decided to leave.
We didn't do a crash into the other verses, but we could do that here. I definitely want this to ride through because I want it to feel, I need to do something different with the guitars. They just drone out there. The lick has to go on a little bit longer. This whole section needs some retooling because let's see, it is a grand total of 14 seconds. So 14 seconds, no vocals, is probably a record in a Royish Good Look song. I don't know what the Bad Batch solo is, but it's a lot of time. So I either will probably shorten this or maybe find something else to put there in the future. Obviously, we'll have these big vocal stacks, and it's nice to get a rest. I recently heard some audio podcast I was listening to. I wish I could remember, but they're talking about how Blink-182, they don't always have a bridge with vocals. They just kind of like rock out for a little bit, and that sometimes that breath of fresh air is a welcomed change of pace. I worry that if I don't put vocals in the song, that people are going to get bored and click away for that moment, that the attention span isn't there. I can challenge myself to make an interesting part and challenge the audience as well to come along for that ride, right? As long as it's listenable, if it just feels good. If not, maybe we just go right to the third verse, right after this post-chorus. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do this kind of like giddy up beat, which it's got a lot of energy to it. Well, since this is that last, it's got the same doubled section as the second verse. So we can do the kind of like double stress. Make people really want it. But leading into it, I think we have to do some kind of a build up. Now that's too slow, but I do hear like a doom, 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 doom. Maybe these turn into held out chords here. That's the other thing. We're not rearranging the guitars or the vocals at this point. The wheels are spinning, but maybe here, ring out, and then. So to have the, guitar arrangement change will make the drum arrangement better. You don't have to worry about like, how does the drum fit with the guitar riffing right there? Well, it's a scratch track. So you got to consider that in the part of the process that we're in now. And again, guitar arrangement, the guitars here would have to do the dugu dugu taku, the dugu dugu taku. This will kind of be like the bridge and Never Tell Me the Odds, the da 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 doo. But we're on tom-toms here. I think that's on Crash. But maybe the same idea here. If we were concerned with the guitar arranging right now, what I might do is, we know we want to cut off 1 and 2 and cut. 1 and 2 and cut. So I might come here and make these crude edits on that guitar track. And now you got a whole different feel, right? Maybe you only cut that one beat. And that's another, now you have a guitar part that's coming into mind. It can move you into the bridge a little bit easier there too, maybe. I kind of like it when it just cuts, but that gives you some idea. Another thing I wanted to address was what makes the man? What makes the man? I don't know if that's going to continue for the post-chorus here. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian? On the demo right now, I do this like, what makes the man? What makes the man? What makes the man? What makes the man? It's like a subtle difference there. That's going to be something I'm going to have to feel out. As soon as I noticed that the tagline has a different rhythm than the post-chorus, it's so similar, but it's just one like 16th note off. And I might change that, but that's going to give everything a different feel. That might also give a different feel to this fill here. You can't crash while you're doing tom-toms. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know how long I've been going, like an hour or so, maybe more. Eventually you get to a point where you just have to stick with something and come back to it and you'll figure it out later. Yeah, that makes more sense. This post-chorus part now, with it rolling through on the ride or the hi-hat, felt more complete with this demo. Now with the broken up tom-toms, we have to make it a moment with really cool chugga-chugga guitars. I really love, in the demo, the delay on the vocals makes it so catchy. So leaving more room in the arrangement for that to speak through, I think will also be fun. The whole like, DeLorean, DeLorean.
And DeLorean, what makes the man DeLorean? What makes the man DeLorean? What makes the man...
That delay was kind of not an accident. I always have, a room sound, plate reverb, and a slap delay, eighth note delay, quarter note delay. So I always have a bunch of colors to play with the vocals for effects. That DeLorean repeating, or Mandalorian, it's satisfying and I love that. And to give it more space for this part makes sense rather than to just cover it up with hi-hats and, guitars chugging through that part. That'll make it even catchier. I also have no idea how the song's gonna end. If there's some sort of a reprise, if we just end on this one chord. It might be cool to do what makes the man, what makes the man. But that's like two endings. You get a kind of a false ending. We could leave it cutting there for now. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break and then do bass, and maybe we'll call it a day, because done a lot on the drums here, and if we fill in the bass, that might give us some more ideas of how to come back to the drums rather than hammering the drums real hard. We'll continue stacking the bricks, or putting the puzzle pieces together, or whatever metaphor we're going with at this point. All right. I don't know how interesting this is going to be, but I'll program the bass on camera. Then we'll listen back and probably wrap up for the day because it's 7:17 and I'm told that dinner is ready and I'm hungry. So let's finish this up. So I think the bass will come in, with the drums. So this is going to be, C here. Yeah, do we want a little pickup there? Probably do like a slide. So I'll go back in and track real bass. I'm not gonna go in and record real drums. I'll put in the MIDI bass and that will help me figure out some of that guitar arranging stuff from earlier. Like sometimes if the scratch guitar doesn't have the right rhythm to it, you can influence how you're perceiving it in the demo with the bass MIDI, but I'll go back in and play live bass. But this is nice to have a placeholder for the next version of the demo. It'll sound a little bit more complete.
It's just how you were raised, you're a Mandalorian.
Sometimes I'll go heavy on the rhythms and get it right, but it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see how that, not having two eighth notes there makes that fill a little bit cleaner. That might be important for the chorus here too, to not just have it rolling through. Maybe the bass would roll through here though. Yeah. It sounds a little bit more full there, at least without having like chords, power chords behind it.
That is not the best car steel that makes the man.
I think these are pretty much the same chord, so let's just duplicate. Command D, baby. Yeah, to cut this off. Maybe it can ring out. Da, 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 da. Oh, that could be cool. The first time through it's chopped up, and second time through we elongate it. Talking with my hands. It's just what I do. So whether or not that's the bass rolling through on eighth notes, sustaining more, or the guitar's like chugging more, like there can be more development there, tambourine or something, pushing along the second half of the post-chorus.
What makes the man?
Obviously, experiment. We don't have to do whole notes and everything. We could have this dun dun.
Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything that you are.
Okay, so now, can you hear the Michael Jackson Beat It come out now? I don't want to go that far with it. That's such a good rhythm. I wish we could use that exact rhythm, but we can't do that exactly. We gotta switch it up a little bit.
Deep in the minds you would try to redeem.
Kind of liked it better when it was sustaining.
You didn't know there could be so much more.
Let's see what this sounds like, kind of riffing through.
You didn't know there could be so much more. But when you learned, you had to settle the score. You're a Mandalorian.
So that's another thing. So chorus 1, chorus 2, chorus 3, and the post choruses, I don't really know how they differentiate yet, other than like the entrances into them. Let's do chorus 2 and a post chorus 2 bridge.
So hard to see, 'cause all my wounds were underneath. But now I understand that it's not the best scar or steel that makes a Mandalorian. What makes the man?
That guitar riffing doesn't kill it, but it certainly influences like how cool the part is. You're like, what's going on?
That makes the Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the
I love those 3 snares. There's something about that. I do that a few times, and there's a couple of songs that I like that do that. There's something about that. And like 2 crashes, like da da da, but like an extra snare while that one crash is hanging.
You took a chance when you decided to leave.
What if it was just the bass there here? You know, we don't know where the song is going thematically if the words change, but it could be cool to like brood even further.
You took a chance when you decided to leave. We're all better off no matter what you believe. You're a Mandalorian. Always a Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, and we said we'd hold out chords here.
It was so hard.
Maybe that one does cut.
It was so hard to see.
It's for dramatic effect. It's gonna be so cool to look back on this whole documentation. I don't know how it's gonna turn out in a video edit. I almost feel like it's gonna be a nightmare to try and make a coherent, interesting story, rather than just like, hey, I'm watching Roy make the song. Cool. But is it gonna be a fun watch all the way through? I'm probably gonna have to cut a ton of stuff. But it'll be really cool to see all of the work that went into it and all the different iterations and the weirdo thoughts that came out of it. That's what I have to find while I'm editing this. Note to self, Roy. Find all the interesting parts and put that in the video.
We're all better off no matter what you believe.
I guess I'll leave in the guitar for now just because it's weird without it. Or I guess maybe cut the bass?
You took a chance when
Yeah.
you decided to leave.
Now is it dun dun boom psh. We might be able to make that post-chorus part cooler if we, actually steal some of the strumming here maybe.
Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the man?
Yeah, I've never really done a beat like that, but
It was so. It was. It was so hard.
I don't know if that's impossible to play or not.
It was so hard.
Sounds good.
to see.
So on the outro, then maybe we could come back to the hi-hat.
Mandalorian.
Maybe we've played that out by now. Yeah, I think we'll bring the hi-hat back for this part, and the outro can be more of the...
Mandalorian.
Oh no, yeah. Okay, so again, let's try moving a weird part in. Let's go double time on the ending here. Who knows?
That makes the Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian?
Let's go to the beat it beat. The beat it beat. So funny.
Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian?
Yeah, a little bit too cliche. Let's do the stress beat.
Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian?
That's kind of cool to still keep that anticipation.
What makes the Mandalorian?
Very Travis Barkery. Could we crash through?
That makes the Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What?
Huh. Yeah, tough decision now. Like, do we keep it chopped up?
That makes the Mandalorian. What makes the
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up.
That makes the Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the man?
And then do we just end? What makes the man?
Makes the man.
It's still kind of a cool ending. I've done this my last couple of songs. Like on Rebellion, the outro is crashing like crazy. On Never Tell Me the Odds, we go up to the crash. That's kind of upbeat though. And then in It's Like Poetry, that last post, is that a post chorus there? Yeah, it's like an interlude post chorus. We're crashing. We're crashing!
Makes the Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the man?
I think we'll go with that for now. So we'll listen back and we'll see if we need to do any major edits, and then we'll print it down and call it a day because it's 7:55 and I was hungry a long time ago in the galaxy far, far away.
You took the creed and believe this is the way. All of your life you've been both hunter and prey. You're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? You were
Kind of want a different rhythm there on the beat. Maybe it's just because the bass is doing weird things. You know, without any strum patterns of the guitars or natural strum pattern of guitar and bass. Again, it can feel kind of weird.
Mandalorian. Does that make a man?
Ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. That's probably what the guitar will do. Da-da-da-da-da-da. MIDI bass could do it for now, and that will give the impression of that.
Mandalorian. Does that make
No
a
drums for the second part?
You would grow up never showing your face. You didn't ask why, it's just how you were raised. You're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? It was
Ha! Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
It was so hard to see, 'cause all my wounds were underneath. But now I understand that it's not the best scar steel that makes the Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian?
Sick.
What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the man? Deep in the mines, you would try to redeem everything that you are, or so it would seem. You're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? You didn't know there could be so much more, but when you learned, you had to settle the score. You're a Mandalorian. Does that make a Mandalorian? It was so
Kind of weird transition here from the giddy up to the halftime thing, because I guess that should be just twice through. Again, that pre-chorus can be sort of a clue into that last outro of the song if we go up to that crash. Gonna have to live with this a little while. Not 100% sold on it, but okay. So does that cut? Yeah, no cut. We're going into toms. You don't need a tom fill into toms. Let's do crash into toms.
The Mandalorian. What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the man? What makes the man?
Yeah. So again, do we do the hat here? It differentiates better.
You took a chance when you decided to leave. We're all better off no matter what you believe. You're a Mandalorian, always a Mandalorian.
Okay, but the other verse did the crash thing, right? So we should do that here too. Yeah, so then this do 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 just needs something different there. Ba do do ba do do ba. Do 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 do. Cool. I'm actually digging that ending there of just cutting right off. Wow, so it's starting to shape up. Hopefully you could see that too. Again, it's so crazy that by the time you watch this, the song will already be out. We're doing it behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
So this will become what I'll call demo 2. I'll save a new bounce of the mix. I'll save a version of the session as is now. I've already got the other demo version saved. So if I ever need to revert to something from a previous version, I can always do it. If I need to reference that previous mix, I can always do that as well. I guess it would be cool to show this part of the process. Since I'm showing everything else, why would I just say, hey, bye, I'm going to do something really interesting without you. So here's demo 1 that I printed down yesterday. This is just the guitar and vocal demo. If I unmute it and we solo it. That's the version that I made yesterday, and I keep that in the session. I literally print it down. I've got a bus here, inputting into this audio track to print the mix, and that way I have access to every mix I've ever done inside of the session. Or if I want to do like an alternate mix real quick, I can A/B a little bit easier. And even just getting the visual of the mix can also help. You certainly don't want to mix with your eyes, but it can help to see the mix in Pro Tools and give you an idea of like what the dynamics are, the distortion and clipping and limiting and whatnot. And so what I'll do is I will make a duplicate playlist and I'll just rename it Demo 2. So I'll print down the same region. All of the music comes into this mix track, and then it comes out of that mix track onto this print track where I get the audio file. And that way I listen to everything in real time as I'm mixing it down or printing it, exporting it, bouncing it, whatever you want to call it. I hear it in real time. Kind of like what we were just doing, but I'm literally going to record enable the track, hit record.
You took the creed and believe this is the way.
We're hearing the mix, but it's also recording down onto this track. Super helpful. All right, so I just printed down Mandalorian Demo 2. And as you can see, if we like zoom in, you can see all the drums and like the transient spikes of the kick and the snare. This track is literally the same as the mix. There's nothing, new there, but it's cataloged. So when we come back and start editing other stuff or adding new stuff, we can always reference the old mix right here or any of them. So if we flip to the playlist view, now we'll see, okay, cool. Here's demo 1, we got demo 2. And even if we need to get back to that voice memo, I still keep that on another track. Very rare do I need to go back to the voice memo, but sometimes if there's a cool, inflection on the melody or a chord, it can help to find some inspiration from that, but I'm not going to use that in the actual mix. So that's usually inactive or hidden here. But very cool that we have the mixes in the session so you can see the progress as you go. So here, new version, and we can flip over to the old version. Right?
What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the Mandalorian? What makes the man?
I think that's just cool to be able to reference the other material. Because sometimes you might do a new mix and be like, oh, the other mix sounded better. And then you can compare and contrast what changed about them. And it might even be like a fill, an arrangement element in the mix. I always keep a copy of all that in the session and up in Dropbox. So the next thing I'll do is I'll export this out of Pro Tools, upload it to Dropbox, and that way I can listen to it on my phone whenever I'm not in the studio. That concludes the session for today. It is now 8:23 p.m. and I've been informed it's no longer dinner time, that it's now moved on to ice cream time. And apparently there was also a Roy on Jeopardy tonight, and I missed that, and I'm kind of bummed, but I heard he didn't win, so it could have been me. Who knows? I may or may not get to the studio tomorrow. We're supposed to get a lot of snow in my area, so don't know if I'm gonna be stuck inside or shoveling or what's the deal. The next step will be to come back and do any revisions of things that I hear while I'm outside of the studio and start on the guitar arranging. So we'll put in some rhythm guitars and lead guitars and try to really hone in the full musical arrangement of the song. We'll keep on working. All right, I'll see you then.